and development. They stated this while speaking to communities of Numan, Lamurde, Tungo and Ganye local governments during a thank you visit. Correspondent Abubakar Haman reports.
While in Numan and Lamurde local governments, the PDP candidate and his entourage were given a warm and encouraging reception as people in the area came out in their thousands to receive them. The PDP candidate and his running mate in their speech promised to change things for the better in Adamawa State if given the opportunity to lead them. Malam Nuhu Ribadu told the crowd that he visited the area to thank them for supporting PDP and urged them to continue to support the party during the 2015 general elections. Religious leaders in the area, in their separate remarks, tasked the aspirant to strive in making Adamawa a greater place to live and assured him of their total support. The team was at the Hamabachamas Palace to seek for his fatherly advice, where the royal father, Humun Irimia Stephen, advised the aspirant to play clean politics and urged the people of the area to come out en masse during 2015 general elections and vote for credible candidates of their choice. While in Tongo and Ganye local governments, Malam Nuhu Ribadu called on the people of the area to come out and vote for PDP and pledged to give all people of Adamawa State equal treatment irrespective of any affiliation when voted to serve as governor of the state. The team also visited the district head of Tongo and the Gangwari Ganye Alhaji Umaru Adamu Sanda to seek for their blessings. In Yola, Abubakar Hamman, NTA News.
In the build-up to the next month elections, Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura of Nasarawa State has advised the political class on the need for issue-based campaigns that will deepen democracy in the country. Governor Almakura stated this in Lafia while addressing the people of the state. He said peace and unity of the country should be the priority of all. Joshua Ojito has more.
Addressing the people of the state shortly on arrival from foreign trip, Governor Umaru Tanko Almakura said government will work with all relevant stakeholders so as to ensure that its old age tradition of brotherly love and unity among diverse ethnic groups is restored for enduring peace in the state. By this, he appealed to the people of Nasarawa State to support government peace initiatives and in their various domains to ensure true reconciliation. Governor Almakura described the year 2015 as the year of forgiveness and encouraged all to forgive one another as he reassured the commitment of government for better days in the state this year.
This has actually made me committed to no other person than that ordinary man of Nasarawa State that are gathered here.
On the next month elections, Governor Almakura the political class to base their campaigns on issues rather than calumny, stressing that the interest of the state is more paramount. In Lafia, Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Apologize for a few hitches and part of that report. Now to Abia State, where the governor, Theodore Oji, has pledged his administration's commitment to complete ongoing projects in the state before the end of his tenure. He disclosed this, that his administration has witnessed development in road construction, education and healthcare.
This government has also completed a digital electronic library that is in compartments to accommodate both children and adults. The chest clinic has also been commissioned. We have built and equipped over 700 health centers all over our communities.
Governor Theodore Oji called on Abians to continue to maintain peace and order as they celebrate the year 2015. Now, activities marking the birth of the Holy Prophet of Islam was at its peak in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital, with Islamic scholars and faithful converging to mark Maulud on Medinatu Mosque, as well as the Sheikh of Borno's palace. Correspondent Mohammed Ibrahim has details.
In spite of restriction of vehicular movement imposed by security agencies during the festivity in Borno State, as early as 7 o'clock in the morning, Muslims from far and near trekked to Medina to Sheikh Ahmad Abdul Fattah Mosque at the outskirts of Maiduguri to be part of the event. The venue for the Grand Maulud in Maiduguri was filled with followers of Tariqat Tijaniya, including visitors from neighboring countries and states who defied the cold weather to celebrate Maulud Nabi. Leader of Tijaniya movement in Borno, Khalifa Ali Ahmad Abdul Fattahi, described Maulud of all days, adding that the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, was a blessing, guide and hope to mankind. The convener also charged Muslims to love and practice the virtues of the Holy Prophet, teach their children knowledge of the Quran alongside Western education, and live in peace with one another irrespective of denomination and difference in faith. Special prayers were offered for peace to reign across the country, safe return of internally displaced persons to their homes, and for a hitch-free general election across the country. At the Shehu of Borno's palace, it has been the tradition of the people of Borno to organize various events in the third month of the Islamic calendar, Rabiul Awwal, to commemorate the birth of Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
More than 200,000 low-income traders in Gombe State are being empowered with loans to improve their businesses. This is part of Governor Ibrahim Dankwambo's plan for economic growth in the state as he launched a trade intervention fund, first of its kind in the state. Usman Aliyu has details.
A major key player on economic development in the northeast and Nigeria, with majority of the population in commerce, trade and agriculture. Therefore, the administration of Ibrahim Hassan Dankwambo mapped out strategies for economic development and prosperity. Today, a 750 million naira has been provided as trade intervention fund to help low-income business operators, numbering 2,065. The intervention is a partnership with Jaiz Bank. In the arrangement, no collateral is required from the beneficiaries, but rather their registered business association and groups are the guarantors.
We have been fulfilling our obligation as evidenced by the several financial support being rendered to various segments of the business community, as well as the huge social and economic infrastructure put in place.
Before this one, 1 billion naira was given out as revolving loan to large-scale businessmen and industrialists. In the plan of the scheme, 500 million naira will be distributed to traders in all markets in the metropolis, including the mobile petty traders, tailors, and those in poultry business, while 250 million naira will be distributed to village traders groups across the state. In Gombe, Usman Aliyu, NTA News.
The Independent National Electoral Commission INEC chairman, Professor Atahiru Jega, has once more promised Nigerians that the 2015 elections will be the best ever conducted in Nigeria based on strategies he said the commission has put in place ahead of the election. Now stay with us to examine these strategies when we come back.
The jangling discords of our nation into a beautiful symphony of brotherhood.
Change is never easy. It was not easy for Dr. Martin Luther King when Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew transformed Singapore from third world to first world. It was not easy. They stoned him. It was not easy for Nelson Mandela.
I, Barack Hussein Obama.
It was not easy for Barack Obama. Nothing worthwhile ever is. Dr. Martin Luther King did it. Prime Minister Lee Kuan Yew did it. Nelson Mandela did it. Barack Obama did it. Goodluck Jonathan is doing it. He is transforming Nigeria. Mr. President, keep doing it. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Don't let cash get in the way. With your debit MasterCard, you enjoy less hassle and more convenience the cashless way. Call your bank today to get your debit MasterCard. That's MasterCard. That's priceless.
His Excellency President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan, GCFR, has approved the constitution of the 2015 Presidential Campaign Organization and Campaign Committee. Presidential Campaign Organization will be inaugurated by President Goodluck Ebele Jonathan on Monday, 5th January 2015 by 2 p.m., while the Campaign Committee will be inaugurated by Dr. Amadou Ali, Director General, Presidential Campaign Organization, on the same day by 4 p.m. Both events will hold at the Presidential Campaign Headquarters, Legacy House, Shehu Shagari Way, Maitama, Abuja. All members of the Presidential Campaign Organization are expected to be seated by 1 p.m. prompt. Professor Rufai Ahmed Al-Khali, Special Advisor to the President, Political Affairs, announcer.
Experience Katsina.
Home of a vibrant history, a culture of pride and peace. Centuries of tradition have built a solid foundation.
Invest in Katsina.
The future is here. Opportunity is everywhere. Nestled in northwest Nigeria, it's the home of untapped resources, solar and wind energy, and solid minerals.
Grow Katsina.
From the fertile land and the seeds of potential, grow cotton, corn, rice, and livestock. Katsina is the breadbasket for Nigeria and the region, home to the most important resource of all, our people.
Explore Katsina's potentials. Come invest in Katsina.
Happy New Year 2015. Visualize it. Believe this. Former vote Goodluck Jonathan and Namadi Sambo for President and Vice President 2015. Vote PDP. Transformation Ambassadors of Nigeria. Supporting PDP for Goodluck and Sambo 2015.
Johnny S5.5, the slimmest in the world. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved. Johnny M2, 28 days standby time. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is calling on all persons who have not collected their permanent voters' cards to do so between now and the end of January 2015. The permanent voters' cards are available for collection at the INEC offices in the local government areas of the country. Remember, only permanent voters' cards will be used for voting during the 2015 general elections. Eligible persons are therefore enjoined to collect their cards, ensure that they are kept safely, and use them for voting during the 2015 general elections. INEC, making your votes count, consolidating our democracy.
Thank you for staying with us. Now, earlier on, I told you that dignitaries from far and near converge on Otoke, the ancestral home of President Goodluck Jonathan, for the traditional marriage of his niece, Ineba Paul. That report by correspondent Shegun Laole is ready.
A time for Ineba, a trained lawyer in maritime law, to say final bye-bye to a life of a spinster, as his heartthrob Simeon Onyemeche from Oka came for a hand in marriage, as the two families agreed at the traditional marriage for the couple to start a new life as one. In line with tradition, the families of Paul and Jonathan of Otuoke welcomed the groom's family, Uzodima Onyemeche of Oka, Anambra State. President Jonathan and the First Lady, Dame Patience, have been the bride's guardian.
that marriage is not for young people. No matter your age, the day you get into marriage, it's assumed that you are adult. That is why probably like the Fulanis, they first of all flog you to see how you can stand the strength of flogging. If you cannot stand the strength of flogging, you are not competent to take a wife. But these days, the flogging is in a different perspective. They assess you from different angle, not a physical flogging. And I believe my son-in-law can enjoy the flogs if he were to be a Fulani young man. And of course, my daughter is also very good. I know her. She's been with me for a very long time. And I know that she will make a good wife. What we can do as parents is to guide. We cannot play a role in your marriage. You have to design the kind of marriage that's suitable for you.
As the couple begins a new life, the two were advised on the task ahead with all sense of responsibility to themselves, the society, and the nation.
Marriage that we have witnessed today, God would bless it. God would grant it the favors of a successful and peaceful marriage.
The only solemnization between INEC and Simeon will be held in Abuja on the 10th of January. From Otuoke, Bayelsa State, Shagulawole, NT News.
Many thanks to Shegun. Now to our focus for the day, preparations for the 2015 general elections. Now that election is one that comes with many innovations, both from the electoral umpire and strategies by politicians themselves, as Nigeria's democracy continues to thrive. And this background report, correspondent Abdullahi Garibir previews the level of preparations and indeed challenges ahead of the election.
In less than 42 days from now, more than 70 million registered voters in Nigeria are expected to go to the polls in another round of elections to elect leaders at all levels. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, empowered constitutionally to conduct the process, says preparations for the election began right from the date it concluded the 2011 elections. Part of the arrangements is the release of election timetable, updating of the voters' register, engagement of all stakeholders in the process, and introduction of policies to improve on what was obtainable in the past.
INEC is very ready for the February 2015 elections. Materials are already being deployed. Manpower are being trained.
But barely 6 weeks to the first part of the staggered election, beginning with that of the President and National Assembly slated for February 14, 2015, are Nigerians, especially politicians, comfortable with INEC logistic arrangements and preparations for the elections?
The level of preparation should be more sophisticated and should be more palpable, in sophistication.
Although the Commission received a pat on the back for its readiness, there are a lot of people still cry loud over the continuous voter registration exercise and distribution of permanent voter cards, which is the only identity for all Nigerians to have eligibility to vote in the election.
This is a challenge, at least to INEC and then to the federal government. So once INEC is up to the task to make sure that, yes, they've concluded all the necessary arrangement.
But the Commission is quick to respond, saying it has achieved more than 60% on the dual exercise and all registered Nigerians will get their card before the end of January.
So there are many people that have been catered to. Cards that have been printed, that have been picked up and are still being picked up.
Another poser to 2015 election is the issue of security, with estimated 2 million Nigerians internally displaced. This is coupled with the current efforts to enable prisoners to vote in 2015 elections. Indeed, this has created legal debate and prompted the need for review of the current Electoral Act to accommodate identified areas relevant to current realities.
And of course, because there is no law stopping them, and even if there is a law, so long as it is contrary to Section 77 sub 2, Section 38 and 39 and 40, of the 1999 Constitution. To that extent, that law is null and void.
For now, the National Assembly has gone far in making it possible for internally displaced persons to vote. Nigeria has now experienced 16 years of uninterrupted democracy. In Abuja, Abdullahi Garba Kudu, NTA News.
Now, in Niger State, permanent voter card distribution and indeed the continuous voter registration are said to be facing challenges. Problems encountered, including system failure, power supply and shortage of personnel, have led stakeholders in the electoral process to call for the use of temporary voters card alongside the permanent voters card in the upcoming elections. Dauda Mohammed completes the report.
The permanent voter cards distribution exercise began in only 11 out of the 25 local government areas of Niger State after the exercise was postponed 3 times by the State Independent Electoral Commission, citing non-arrival of the materials from China before it was eventually conducted. During the exercise in the 11 local government areas, challenges of missing permanent voter cards, omission of names and others were observed.
I saw my name in the paper, but there was no voting card for me.
As you can see, we still have much card here. So they should try and turn off.
When the permanent voter card distribution and the continuous voter registration exercises eventually started in the remaining 14 local government areas of the state, it was expected that challenges experienced in the earlier exercise will have been addressed.
We don't have backup, we don't have printing machine. Printing machine is here, but it's not working. Entire share word.
Since day before yesterday, we've only registered 58 people. All the materials are not good.
In the morning, people was gathered in this polling unit. When we did not see the presiding officers, 9 people scatter.
The persistent challenges drew calls from stakeholders, including Niger State Governor Dr. Mazu Babangida Aliyu, for the temporary voter cards to be used alongside the permanent voter cards in the 2015 general elections.
The Commission should be able to factor a way through which this large turnout of people can be accommodated to participate in the build up to 2015 election. That would be too fantastic for INEC.
So for the 11 local governments that have finished, reliably we have recorded 28%. After the continuous voter registrations, we might take another proactive measure.
When those who are entitled to vote do not have their permanent voters card, and you are not using the temporary voters card, how do they cast their vote? From the experience and what we saw on the ground, there are a lot of challenges where there's need to look into this issue again.
Niger State, with 274 wards and 3,187 polling units, provides challenges of its own that needs addressing during the elections. In Mina, Dauda Mohammed, NTA News.
Many thanks, Dauda. Now, in the South Zone, some electorates and stakeholders have commended INEC for steps taken towards the 2015 general elections. Others, however, are calling for improved voter education and commitment on the part of electorates for successful election. Let's join Chine Nwoye for all the details now.
Of different strokes for different folks, for some electorates and stakeholders in the Southeast who spoke on the preparedness of Nigerians and the Independent National Electoral Commission for the 2015 general elections.
Election starts from voter education.
The INEC has been quite emphatic on the issue of asking Nigerians, people in Enugu State, to go out and pick their permanent voters cards.
For as long as Nigerians are committed, the agent for the election has been on preparation.
It is our duty to be more eager to make sure we participate in this election. So I believe INEC gave enough time for people to get their permanent voters card.
This year's election, we are prepared to go to it.
Some electorates also narrated their experiences at the point of collection of their permanent voters cards.
Maybe to others, the voters card is easier to them, but to me, I've tried to get, I could not.
The Boko Haram thing has displaced so many Nigerians, and some have even run out of the places where they registered.
INEC officials said the commission is fully prepared as particulars of the contestants have already been pasted while they continue with the distribution of permanent voters card ahead of the election. They advised those who registered in other states to fill a form which would enable INEC transfer their PVCs to the present states they have relocated to. In Enugu, Chinenwoye, NTN News.
Now to the northeast, a region which has been in the spotlight due to activities of insurgents. Based on security concerns, some Nigerians have expressed reservation on whether elections are possible there or not. But the federal government and the Independent National Electoral Commission have expressed confidence that the elections will indeed hold there. Correspondent Mohammed Saidu visited one of the IDP camps there and filed in this report.
It is the franchise of every Nigerian citizen who attains voting age and free from imprisonment to elect a leader of his choice at general elections. However, the citizens of the northern part of Adamawa State who are displaced as a result of insurgency do not know their fate as far as February 2015 general elections are concerned. Though the Nigerian army is making headway in recapturing most of the areas earlier captured by the insurgents, only few of the citizens have moved into their homes, while most are still living in IDP camps in the state capital. Besides this, most of their houses were burnt down by the insurgents, including their voter cards. With this situation, unless the Independent National Electoral Commission creates an avenue for the IDPs, they may be disenfranchised. Some of them who spoke to Weekend File suggested to INEC to register them and create voting centers at various camps for them to vote.
We are hoping that INEC to come and register our people here. We should have a register and we can cast our vote here.
In gwamnati zai iya taimaka ya zo ya ba mu kati nan ko ya rijista namu nan lokacin zabe sai mu yi zabe tare da dan uwan nan.
All efforts to get the resident electoral commissioner Adamawa State proved abortive as he was said to be in Abuja attending a crucial meeting on the plight of the IDPs as regards the 2015 general elections. In Yola, Muhammad Saidu.
Now in Lagos, the story is that barely 6 weeks to the 2015 general elections, millions of registered voters are yet to collect their permanent voters card, while several other eligible ones are yet to register. Correspondent Dejido reports that apprehension appears to be a major feeling among many voters and indeed political leaders in Lagos over INEC's preparations. Let's get the details.
Have you got your PVC, sir?
Yes, I have.
I've got it.
These are the lucky ones, so to speak. Have you collected their permanent voters' cards? They are sure of casting their votes in this year's general elections. There are, however, others who are not so sure.
Register Kofo Abayomi, close to DP Arrow. The time they said that we should go there to go and check if we can get our voters' card. When I got there was nobody there.
I did my voters registration when I was serving, and now it's like 3 years later. I can't go back to Kwara State to start searching for the permanent one.
I've been to the local government twice. They said the INEC officials haven't been around ever since.
Which local government is your own?
Ali Mosho.
Less than half of registered voters in Lagos State have not collected their PVC or register. And it is not good for our democracy.
The twin issue of PVC collection and registration of new eligible voters have overshadowed INEC's preparations for the general elections in Lagos, prompting politicians and voters to start doubting INEC's readiness for the elections.
INEC has not performed to expectations in terms of making sure that the process is very clear to everybody. To the extent that 45 days to the election, we are still talking about PVC. I think that is gross negligence.
Is it so difficult to revisit the issue of PVC for 2 weeks? If they don't have money, they should say so. Allow people to register again.
Our appeal to INEC is everything must be done to ensure that every Nigerian is registered. And I don't know why it will be so difficult, considering the fact that there's been some time to do this.
INEC's reaction to the PVC and voters registration issues could, however, not be got in Lagos due to the recent redeployment of the resident electoral commissioners. The next few weeks, however, promises to be critical as many Nigerians expect solutions to these challenges. In Lagos, Dejido, NT News.
board, management and staff of the Nigerian Ports Authority, NPA, join all Muslims in marking this year's Eid al-Mawlud. We seize the occasion of the birth of Prophet Muhammad to enjoin all Nigerians to embrace the virtues of the Holy Prophet. Barka de Salah. NPA, the national brand asset anchored on service excellence.
Mama, papa, make we suffer for we road. Sister, brother, make we suffer for we road. Cause the people will say goodbye, they wait me, them welcome you when you come. Cause the people will say goodbye, they wait me, them welcome you when you come. Listen, no drink and drive, no drive and drink. Obey traffic rules, face your front, no call and drive. If you choose safety, tell mama and papa to know.
Johnny S5.5, the slimmest in the world. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
Love is the greatest of all virtues. The Holy Bible and the Holy Quran tell us so. Love is not boastful. Love is humble, cool under pressure. Love is hope for the next generation. Love is the North, East, West, and South living in unity. Love is progress despite adversity. It makes the impossible possible. Love is a secure nation with prosperity for all. Love is transformation. We need more love. Good luck, Abele Jonathan. Driven by love for God and country. Mr. President, we appreciate you. We who are with you are so many more than those who are against you. A message from protectors of Nigerian posterity.
Welcome back. The Director of Voter Education and Publicity in INEC, the person of Mr. Oluwole Osazeuzi, is joining us here in the studio to discuss the Commission's state of preparedness for the 2015 general elections. Mr. Osazeuzi, I welcome you to Weekend Fire.
Thank you for having me.
This elections is only a few weeks away, and this question is a question you've perhaps had cause to answer several times. But considering its crucial nature, its significance to the success or otherwise of this election, we keep asking it time and time again. How prepared is INEC for these elections?
Thank you very much for the question. Yes, you're right. I keep people often ask, and with good reason, to find out the state of preparedness of the Commission for this election. But we have for a couple of years now, which has intensified in the last few months, been very busy with all the preparations, trying to ensure that we meet all the logistics challenges, to ensure that the voter register is clean, to ensure that everybody who turns up to the polling unit to vote is there. There are materials available and available on time. So a lot of preparations have been put in place to ensure a hitch-free exercise. And of course, it's still been fine-tuned. Training has commenced, as the Chief Press Secretary to the Commission, to the Chairman mentioned in your earlier report. Training of the ad hoc personnel who are actually going to carry out the exercise has commenced. Recruitment and training has commenced. So preparations are in top gear.
You saw those reports by our correspondents from all over the places, especially those from Lagos and Minna. We'll be talking about the PVC and the challenges people are facing at the moment. But first, campaigns are on now, aren't they? Yes, how should politicians go about this campaign?
In accordance with what the law says and in accordance with the guidelines and the code of conduct adopted by all registered political parties. They should go about with decorum. They should sell their products and services to the electorate in a decent manner, bereft of religious sentiments, of insults, and using decorous language in dealing with issues, and more importantly, to deal with the issues and not try to go and abuse our fault lines using tribe, using religion, using ethnic sentiments or other sentiments. But they should go ahead, address issues and tell the electorate what they have for the electorate.
What's your role in all this? At the campaign stage, is there any role INEC is playing?
The umpire, as in every other stage. Ours is to ensure that campaigns are undertaken in accordance with the law, to ensure that people are peaceful in their campaigns, that utterances are guided and guarded, and also to ensure that the guidelines for campaigns, which has been issued and circulated amongst all the political parties, are strictly adhered to. So ours is to monitor the political parties and all the activities, including the campaigns.
Mr. Sazeuzi, critical to the election is the issue of the voter's card. The PVC has recorded some problems in some state, challenges that is making a lot of people lose confidence in your ability to do very well. What do you have to say to this?
Well, don't lose confidence, don't lose hope. As I speak, millions of Nigerians are yet to collect their PVCs. The PVCs are lying down in the INEC state offices in many states uncollected, millions and millions of those cards. So our appeal is that without the PVC, you cannot vote. So ensure you go there to pick up your PVC from the INEC local government office. If you don't do that, then there's not much we can do. We've kept emphasizing this point. People focused on different issues, but I think we should change our focus onto the collection of the PVCs by the people. I think everybody by now in Nigeria knows that you need this PVC to vote. So please ensure millions still lie in all states, in fact.
The impression you're creating right now is that the problem is people not collecting. But from the reports we got is that people have not been able to do the ongoing registration. That perhaps is not the only problem.
It is not ongoing in most states. Opportunity was given. I saw the comments. I regret the comments made by the former honorable minister. He says even INEC says they don't have enough funds. We did say so, that we do not have enough funds to put people at the polling unit level for 2-3 weeks. We do not have those kind of funds. And there are conflicting priorities on the nation's funding. We know what the funding situation of the country is now. So for the time we had a budget for, we went to the areas as low to the ward levels or regional area levels where we could go. Doing otherwise would have meant getting money from other sources, and we're not allowed to do that.
Perhaps one way to inspire confidence in Nigerians this evening would be to tell us how many states have you covered as far as distribution of PVC is concerned?
All states.
All states of the Federation?
And the FCT, yes, sir.
And this reported challenges in states, what are your plans towards?
Well, first of all, in between, we did issue out a message broadcast by you a few minutes ago that the collection of voters' cards is still ongoing in the local government areas. We've gone on to programs like this to ensure, please go and collect your cards. We paid for announcements all over the networks, not just NTA, but other networks as well, that people should go and collect their cards. This thing is still available. You take the opportunity. Transfer is still available in certain instances. So people must be familiar, and us is to inform them about the rights and the obligations as citizens.
These complaints that were raised in Minna and Lagos, for instance, appear, well, genuine case for me. Do you have any plans to address them?
Well, which particular one? Let's address one after the other.
Minna, for instance, where the young man who is in charge there is complaining of broken down equipment, they couldn't print, and a young woman saying she's been there for 3 days and has not been able to get her card.
Yes, she can either collect a card. You know, we're not doing registration and collection of cards at the same time. So that's why you must segment things and we'll deal with each issue as it arises. As for the broken down equipment, extra batteries were supplied to these young people. It's possible that the extra battery also did not live up to expectations. But equipment were being supplied. The technical crew on ground at every local government area to give support to these people. And they have a number that should contacted the supervisor.
Some people are saying you perhaps would have saved yourself a lot of headache and problems if you allow the use of the national ID card. After all, it's said to have all the features. Why are you not using them?
Good question. Do you have your national ID card? How many Nigerians do have ID? More people have their voters card than ID cards. Number two, the law does not allow for that. And we are vowed to obey the law. We are obliged to obey the law. If we contravene the law, then elections will be set aside. And the law says you must use your voter's card. You cannot use ID card, you cannot use your passport, you cannot use any other means of identification. That is what the Electoral Act says. That's why we cannot use any other means.
Let's go to the Northeast now.
Yes.
Again, you have promised time and time again that elections will hold in those places.
Yes.
the worry people are expressing is, as we speak, especially in the IDP camps, for instance, most likely some of your polling units have been destroyed, where presumably so in some of those places where you don't have your voting facilities. How confident are you that elections will hold in these places?
Well, as much as it's practicable, we are phasing out the open spaces being used as voting points or as polling units, as much as it's practicable. We often use public schools, and yes, a lot of public schools in the Northeast have been destroyed. But we'll do all we can to conduct elections everywhere and anywhere. Don't forget that in this country, very often we conduct elections even under trees. Polling units are not necessarily physical structures up till now, up till this point. It's only now that we've turned them to ensure that they are enclosed areas in accordance with international best practices. In saying that elections will be conducted in the whole of the Northeast, obviously, areas under insurgency, where insurgents have occupied territories or physical areas where our polling units are located, obviously, if that is still the situation come next month, we may not be able to conduct in those units. But in other safe areas, we certainly will do so. But we will not expose Nigerians, either the electors, our officials, observers, or any other stakeholders. We certainly will not expect into where there's clear and imminent and present danger. We won't do that. We'll take advice from the security agencies in knowing how to proceed.
For you to be able to convince the people it's safe, they would want to know what security measures are in place in those places we call safe areas. What are the plans? What do you have on ground as far as security is concerned?
Like every other part of the country, we do have an interagency committee on electoral security, in which all the security agencies, the paramilitary, the police, SSS, all are involved in. And we have intelligence reports. In addition, we are deploying this tool called the Electoral Risk Management Tool. We've done electoral mapping of Nigeria, found out the flashpoints and the areas likely to give us security challenges. And of course, INEC is not responsible for security matters, but we'll work, and we are working closely with the security agents to ensure that everybody, men, women, everybody involved in the process, as well as the materials, are relatively safe.
I don't know if you've received this complaint, but in states like Kano, it is also alleged that complaints are coming out that some of these PVCs have genders that are transposed, a man with a female picture on it, and names not properly captured. That is another problem. Have you
yes, it is a challenge. It's not as fortunate, it's not as widespread. These are issues that do happen. It's not as widespread, but there's a time. Each state where we have been to is what we call claims and objections, and each person is afforded an opportunity where your name is wrongly spelled, your sex is wrongly written, to get it corrected. And where you've taken opportunity of that, we'll correct it for the elections. But where that has not been done, if you come into the station now, I see your photograph is there and you put female, of course I will allow you to vote. It's obvious. And the card reader is such that it doesn't read your look at your sex, it reads your fingerprints, your biometrics. It reads your photograph and your biometrics and determines whether you're eligible to be accredited.
So even those people who have not been able to make these corrections can vote?
Yes, they can indeed.
Let me take you to another issue. Fake permanent voters card. There are allegations that they are also in circulation. Is that true?
Well, as you said, there are allegations. We've read in the mass media and in the mass media, I've heard of people complaining about fake voters cards. We are investigating. We've not been able as of now to verify whether this is true or just mere allegations being made. But we do have card readers that can only read genuine. It's like your ATM card, it's a smart card. So if you take a fake ATM card to your bank, I'm sure your bank will not honor that, because it's a machine, it's a computer. There's a chip embedded in each card, and that contains all the particulars, and there are many security features. That machine will be able to detect those things, apart from trained people who can detect some of it, but the machine will not read your card if it's fake.
Earlier on, you mentioned funding. How much of a problem is this? Is this something we should really, really worry about?
Funding for the elections are in place. I won't say it's a problem, but to meet some of these demands and these requests that are being made, then extra budgetary expenditure will have to be incurred. We cannot do that without appropriation from the National Assembly. So we cannot make extra budgetary. If, for example, we were to extend it by 2 weeks for registration, we cannot do that without going back to the executive of the National Assembly to say, give us more money. But there is enough money to undertake the actual exercise of conduct of the elections.
All right. I guess between now and the election time, you would have to come in many more times to answer questions, as many times as Nigerians would want you to answer.
It will be our pleasure.
For now, I'd like to thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
I've been speaking with Mr. Oluwole Osaze-Uzzi, Director of Voter Education and Publicity the Independent National Electoral Commission. This is Weekend File. We'll take a break and come back in a moment.
A man of humble beginnings, one who has risen to become the president of Nigeria, one who's inspired to relate with the plight of the less privileged. He has been able to change what seemed a bleak future for northern children deprived of education by the establishment of 150 elementary schools in the northern states, with over 250 others to be built in various parts of the country. The unprecedented action of President Goodluck Jonathan in tackling this issue is praised by respected and notable personalities of northern Nigeria. The vision of the present administration to elevate these almajiris from roaming the streets to becoming great people in various sectors of the Nigerian economy is geared at securing our collective future.
Nigeria is a canvas of untold stories, human stories, stories about environment and account of events, stories that rarely grace the TV screen, fresh and engaging. What better way to tell those stories?
My paddling is failing me.
Who better tells those stories?
And when they move, their movement is total.
Rogo at Large. Unique, eye-opening and engaging. Rogo at Large airs first quarter 2015 on NTA Network.
Johnny M2, 28 days standby time. Johnny, to be needed, to be loved.
And now for some sports reports. Lovers of sports in the country expect 2015 to be a better year for Nigerian sports as one-day foot tennis competition ends in Lagos. Plus, Andy Murray wins second Mubada First World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi. For more in our sports update, here is Adeola.
Pundits in sports scored the nation high in 2013 but decried the dwindling fortunes in 2014. They are, however, optimistic that with the new boards in place in federations, 2015 will record successes.
Young man, brilliant, easygoing. I think he's on the right track. I'm very proud of the women at Hussein. I'm sure that this year they will do more than that.
Athletics, we can see we are coming and gradually we'll get there. Football, for our players, we need to bring in new legs, try something else, go to the streets, pick up people, and not the same people. We're tired of seeing same faces.
And to foot tennis, the one-day competition aims to develop the technical skills of players. Each team played with 3 players as they tried to prevent the ball from touching the ground when played across the net.
It's a game that sharpens your intellect as a player. It hones your skills, you understand, because your first touch, the first control is very important in football.
It also helped them to also develop another field of exploitation.
12 grassroots football teams participated.
Help us to know when to control
those skills.
And in tennis, without hitting a ball in the final, Andy Murray was crowned champion of the Mubadala World Tennis Championship in Abu Dhabi after his opponent and world number 1 Novak Djokovic withdrew from the finals due to illness.
You know, it's a good start to the new year.
Rafael Nadal beat Stan Wawrinka 2-0 in the 3rd place. The sports update at Deola Omokivi, NTA News.
Many thanks, Deola. Now it is your right to challenge anyone suspected to be involved in unwholesome activities around you. Be security conscious. Now this is a message from the Directorate of State Security. With that, we conclude Weekend File. I'd like to thank you for completing the picture by being there. Join us again next Saturday when we discuss yet another topic. Bye for now.